Hey y'all, in this video, I want to go over your first step on the borrower side once a loan is in process. So either you are under contract if you're purchasing, or if you've applied for a refinance. Basically, when we get to the point that we have all of your information, plus, we also have the property address of the home that the loan is going to be attached to. So this first step that you are going to come across as a borrower are going to be your initial loan disclosures. These aren't your final loan papers that you sign at closing, and they do not contractually bind you to the loan at this point. So think of them more of like a roadmap. So they are giving you a snapshot of your loan as we have it at that moment. It's like it'll show you what your interest rate is, your estimated monthly payment. It'll show you your closing costs. And then there are also a lot of other disclosures in there as well that we are required to provide. For most mortgage loans, lenders by law have to send these to you within 3 business days after you have applied for a mortgage loan. For a purchase, the key to having applied is that you are under contract. So when you're applying for a pre-approval, that's not quite the same thing as applying for a mortgage loan. So once we have been provided with a copy of that contract, of your purchase and sale agreement, that's kind of when our clock starts. The key piece of information that contract is providing to us that's going to trigger us needing to send these disclosures out is the property address. As soon as we have that property address, the clock is ticking and we have to get you these disclosures within 3 business days. And this is a federal regulation. So once we get those, we're working on getting them out. Inside the packet that you will generally be receiving electronically are a lot of required disclosures. These are going to include things like your intent to proceed, which tells us that yes, I want to move forward with the loan. It'll also provide you with a copy of your application that you originally submitted. It'll provide you with information about the credit report that we pulled, documents regarding whether or not you are locking or floating your interest rate. And then there are a lot of other state and federally required documents and disclosures that we are required to provide you. But one of the most important documents is going to be the loan estimate. This is generally somewhere in the second half of the documentation that's sent out, but keep an eye out for it. I know you're going to be going through that list, going through those pages. Keep an eye out for the loan estimate because it's going to give you a complete breakdown of your payment as well as an itemized list of your closing costs and fees. So make sure you're reviewing that and asking any questions that you have about that document. Why are all these disclosures important for you as a consumer? Number 1 is going to be transparency. You want to see all those costs up front so you don't have any hidden surprises later. And you can make changes if you are questioning anything. And secondly, they're really for protection. They are meant to protect you as the borrower. So here's the key point. Signing your disclosures, your initial disclosures, doesn't lock you into the loan. It simply lets me as the lender or the broker know that you want to move forward with things like ordering the appraisal and officially starting the process. So signing these is really an acknowledgement of how we initially have your loan set up. If we make any changes to that along the way, we will send you what we would call re-disclosures. So a new set of disclosures, a much shorter package because you don't have to re-sign everything over again. But we would send you the disclosures that are going to show you the change that we made. And a big part of the loan officer's job is to keep you, the borrower, apprised of the loan throughout the process so that when you sit down at that closing table, there are no surprises. If you have any questions about anything when it comes to these disclosures as you go through them, your loan officer should be available to you to review. And again, it's important to remember that changes can still be made. So ask the questions, ask lots of questions about anything that you see on there, because it's much, much easier to make a change in the beginning of the process than it is at the end of the process. The further along you get in the process, the more likely it is that any changes could cause a delay. So the initial disclosures are just your first big step from having just applied to being on your way to home ownership. If you have any questions for me, please pop them in the comments or send me a DM. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.